We'll take you to the funeral for 6-year-old Logan Tipton, held here in Versailles.
We are learning new details in the murder of a Lexington teenager who was killed in his SUV. We have exclusive testimony from a detective on the case coming up.
Coming up, we'll take you out to Triangle Park and show you why temperatures in the 60s and 70s really aren't so bad for ice skating.
This is WKYT News at 5.
Good afternoon. It's a situation that's just really hard to imagine. Parents holding a funeral to bury their very young son. They thought that it had become a reality today for 6-year-old Logan Tipton's family.
They said their final goodbyes on the football field where the young boy suited up to play many times before. A field he won't get to play on again because his life was taken by a killer. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy was there for that very emotional service. She shows us how Logan is being remembered in our top story at 5.
Leading the way into the football field for the family and 4 police officers were the Woodford County High School football players.
Woodford County's team and Logan's team were honorary pallbearers at what they called Logan's last game. Friday morning, hundreds showed up to say goodbye to the 6-year-old.
You know, we're going to do some special things for him today and give him a hero send-off like he deserves, because he is a hero. He's our little buddy, and he deserves everything he gets.
Peter Barnhart coached Tipton. He called him a star player with a natural talent and a personality many of his teammates admired.
When his dad signed him up, he didn't want to play. And then he put his helmet and his equipment on and you couldn't get it off of him.
Friday was Tipton's last on the football field. And before family and friends laid him to rest, they cheered him off the field with a hero's goodbye.
Members of the community have raised thousands of dollars for the Tipton family, and there are several fundraisers for them that are scheduled for this coming weekend. In Versailles, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Logan's youth football team plans to honor him later on.
Police say he went to buy a small amount of marijuana and ended up being murdered. This morning, a Lexington police detective testified about the case they have against the man accused of killing 18-year-old Jamal Gossett last month. As WKYT's Mark Barber reports, police believe the shooting happened in a robbery.
There was supposed to be a very minimal amount of just a few grams of marijuana.
Police say Terry Farrell did not sell 18-year-old Jamal Gossett that small amount of marijuana. Instead, officers say he shot and killed him. During today's preliminary hearing, Detective Reed Bowles testified that Gossett did not know his accused killer, a 22-year-old Louisville man. According to police, Gossett and a friend contacted Farrell through an acquaintance, and then Farrell told them to meet him on Kent Drive on November 22nd. When they pulled up, detectives say Farrell and a second man got into the back seat, put guns to their heads, and demanded money.
The victim refused to comply. The known witness stated that during that time period, the individual sitting directly behind Mr. Gossett discharged the firearm one time.
Farrell's family was in court, and while they did not want to talk on camera, they did say that something about this case doesn't add up for them. They tell me that they do feel for Gossett's family and they hope they can get justice, but they don't think that Farrell is the killer. Detective Bowles told the court today that they tracked down Farrell after they saw his number in Gossett's phone. He was charged with murder and robbery after a photo lineup.
We met with the known witness, and he positively identified Mr. Terry Farrell as the individual sitting behind Mr. Gossett during the time period of the robbery and murder.
A grand jury will now decide whether the murder case will go to trial. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Police tell us that Farrell shot the teenager while he was wanted on charges of carrying a concealed weapon.
Funeral services were held this afternoon for a murdered dispatcher. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Owsley County. Benjamin Brewer was stabbed to death during a fight in Owsley County a week ago. Brewer worked as a dispatcher for Madison County 911. This afternoon, family and friends attended his funeral in Boonville. He was then buried at Hensley Cemetery. Police charged David Sparks with murder in the case. Animal control officers in Jessamine County traveled more than 100 miles to help with an animal hoarding case. This morning, the group traveled to LaRue County to provide assistance to the animal shelter there. While they have not released many details about the conditions of the animals, they did share pictures from the scene. They also told us that several of these animals will now need homes. The Whitley County Sheriff's Office is taking a new approach in the fight against drugs. The department now has a drug tip line. They also have a link on their website where people can provide drug tips. Anyone who leaves a tip can do so anonymously. The sheriff says tips from the public often lead to arrest, so they're trying to make it easier for people to leave those tips.
If you don't have plans to be outside this weekend, you may want to make some. It is going to be really, really nice, with temperatures at least 20 degrees above what we would normally see this time of year. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is keeping us alert on this weekend warm-up. Look at just how high that temperature will climb, Chris.
Yeah, we're likely to see 70 degrees or better in much of the region, not only for Saturday, but into Sunday as well. It's a pattern we've talked about for several days now, and here we are. Storm system that's way off the map here into the Rocky Mountains. High pressure across the southeastern seaboard. In between a setup like that, you're going to get strong southerly and southwesterly winds coming from the Gulf of Mexico. That is indeed what we have out there now. Unfortunately, a lot of times you can also get a fair amount of cloud cover to show up, and we're seeing that across central and eastern Kentucky right now, though a little break or two in the clouds showing up into the I-65 corridor where temperatures are warmer. It's 70 degrees in Bowling Green, 64 in Lexington, Frankfort, into Richmond, Danville, and Somerset. Southeastern Kentucky, we've had a few upper 60s, and what will happen as the evening goes on, those temperatures are going to kind of hold right at 60 degrees or better. If you're out doing a little Christmas shopping this evening, my oh my, no excuses not to get a lot of it knocked out. But guys, as we go into that 7-day forecast, it's not all about just the record temperatures of the weekend. I've got high winds and winter time. December tries to actually show up in the 7-day forecast here in a few minutes.
How dare it, right, Chris Bailey? Well, whether you are watching a parade or ice skating downtown, many people are finding ways to take advantage of the great weather we have in store. WKYT's Mike Linden talked with some who say they're going to get out in the warmer weather to knock off another item on their list, some shopping.
With temperatures expected to be almost 20, nearly 30 degrees above normal this time of year into the weekend, people are getting out and enjoying the beautiful weather.
With 2 weeks to go until Christmas, warm air has found a home, at least for the time being, in Kentucky. For the ice rink at Triangle Park, officials say a layer of water on top of the ice helps keep the ice smooth. For Barker's Christmas Tree Farm in Lexington, the warm air has led to record sales leading into the holiday. For shoppers at Hamburg Pavilion, the warmth has some people ready for spring, let alone Christmas.
Even though it's not cold, I'm not a big fan of the snow, so to have this weather kind of makes me happier than if it were raining and cold and snowing.
Even with potentially historic temperatures this weekend, over the past 10 years, 6 out of 10 Decembers have all included temperatures at or above 70 degrees. In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. According to records, the warmest Christmas was 72 degrees in 1982. How about that?
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Every bit of it.
Well, the Cats hoping to bring the heat in Rupp Arena this weekend.
Yeah, you bet they will. Kentucky will take on Arizona State tomorrow afternoon, a game that Coach Cal predicts will be a physical one. Ryan Milam joins us now with more on why Cal says this matchup is exactly what his team needs, right?
Exactly. We need heat, and they're playing the Sun Devils. What more do you need? After losing to a physical UCLA team, the Cats rebounded to beat EKU, but now Arizona State leaves the desert to come to the Bluegrass tomorrow. John Calipari has stressed all season his team must be tougher, stronger, and more physical, especially in the paint. If that is the case, the 6-2 Sun Devils will present the Wildcats a stern test.
This game, Arizona State, perfect game for us. One, their inside guys are seniors and they're physical. Their best player is their 4, and he's an active 4. Their 3-man is 6'7", so they got a big 3. It's exactly what we need. They attack the glass. They play tough and physical. They will execute.
A little bit later in sports, Cal and the Cats will also address the topic of shooting woes, which seems to be hovering over this team. More on that a little bit later. Back to you.
We'll see you then, Brian. Thank you. Members of the University of Kentucky and UK healthcare communities are fulfilling wish lists for hundreds of children in need this holiday season.
It's all part of the hospital's annual Circle of Love gift drive. This morning, volunteers helped Santa Claus load school buses and vans with wrapped gifts for the children and families in central Kentucky. The employees sponsored all 800 students who were eligible for the program.
To see all the gifts that come back from all of the employees, it just, makes me in awe. Throughout Monday and Tuesday when gifts were being returned, I couldn't believe what people were really doing for these children.
The presents will be delivered to children in Fayette and 8 surrounding counties. New developments this afternoon in the San Bernardino shootings. Dive teams are again searching a lake that officials believe the shooters may have visited at some point.
The waterway is in a park just a few miles from where 14 people were killed last week. Divers are likely looking for a missing hard drive from the computer of the married couple behind the massacre. Saeed Rizwan Farouk and his wife Tashim Malik were both killed in a shootout with police after the attack. Well, as the first votes in the race for the GOP presidential nomination get closer and closer, tension among the candidates and inside the Republican Party appears to be on the rise.
At least 2 candidates have threatened for differing reasons to leave the party. And today, new poll numbers have 2 candidates who have been reluctant to attack one another on a possible collision course. Craig Boswell has the story from Washington.
Ben Carson is threatening to leave the Republican Party if GOP leaders ignore the will of the voters.
I have no intention of running as an independent, but I certainly don't want to be a part of corruption.
Carson made the threat after a report the GOP is making preparations for a so-called brokered convention. That's where the nominee is picked at the convention and not through primaries. Ted Cruz told donors behind closed doors he's not worried about Carson or Donald Trump.
I believe that gravity will bring both of those campaigns down. People are looking for who is prepared to be a commander-in-chief, who understands the threats we face, who am I comfortable having their finger on the button.
Cruz has jumped to second in the latest CBS News poll, ahead of Carson but well behind Trump. The billionaire businessman has maintained his lead despite his controversial call for a ban on Muslims entering the country. During a radio interview, Senator Lindsey Graham offered his opinion on Trump's staying power with some GOP voters.
Well, there's about 40% of the Republican primary voter who believes that Obama was born in Kenya as a Muslim.
Graham says a Trump nomination would lead to a Hillary Clinton inauguration. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Senator Graham has struggled to connect with primary voters, receiving 0% in the CBS News poll.
Online shopping is bigger than ever this holiday season, and some companies are struggling to keep up with demand. According to the Wall Street Journal, UPS's on-time delivery rate for ground packages fell 6% last week compared to last year. The company is sending managers to sites across the country to help speed up production. UPS, along with FedEx and the U.S. Postal Service, are expected to ship more than 1.5 billion packages this season.
Authorities in Texas have destroyed close to 500 bottles of counterfeit wine. The wine was linked to a California dealer who mixed cheap vintages into old bottles, selling them to collectors for millions of dollars. The dealer was convicted in New York in 2013, where he was forced to forfeit $20 million and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. The holiday season is one of the most joyous times of the year, but for those dealing with grief, it can be a painful reminder of loss. Holidays sometimes remind us of those loved ones who are no longer with us. And while the signs of happier times can be devastating for those dealing with a loss, one health expert says that making new traditions is a good way to help channel the pain.
Spend the holiday talking about them, keeping them alive through sharing of memories. Volunteer somewhere, donate some items, just anything to get yourself out and about and doing something positive.
There are other things you can do to help with the grief. You may need just to take a weekend getaway, but more importantly, if you feel a sense of hopelessness, depression, or grief that you just can't shake, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you are entertaining this holiday season and don't want to pack on the pounds, why not serve healthy dishes to your guests? Holly Furfer gives us some ideas.
Holiday time means fun and food.
Where's olive oil?
So this year, throw a holiday party with a ton of flavor and not all the fat. South African restaurateur Justin Anthony has tips on how to make healthier dishes.
You know, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of things that people can do that they don't realize. Instead of cooking in butter, they can cook in olive oil.
Take this button mushroom dish.
Grill the mushrooms up with some olive oil, some lemon, and some garlic, you know. There we go. Easy, simple, tasty, and people wouldn't know the difference.
Justin often turns to spices to keep dishes healthy. Instead of using butter and salt on his rice, he throws in a little turmeric. Also, if you're using a store-bought sauce, look at what's in it.
What are those ingredients on the back? How high is the sodium?
And why not spice up the chicken, our old standby? Justin suggests trying curry and a few other healthy ingredients.
It's got bananas in it. It's got this apricot chutney, which is very healthy. We use the breast of the chicken, so it's lean.
All good suggestions for a healthy, fun holiday. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
And a lot of people are getting into the holiday spirit at work. According to a new survey, 1 in 5 workers plans on buying a gift for their colleagues, and the same amount also plan on giving a present to their boss. For more